New album from Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday 2. Um, First album in a little while. I guess she came out last year, but she's back and she's dropping, especially in the middle of this onslaught of female artists and rappers that we have in hip hop these days that are making a lot of noise and kind of really, really leading the wave right now. And I'm sure she's kind of been sitting back and noticing all that and taking note and wanting to getting back out there and prove that she's still the top of the top when it comes to female rappers and artists. And yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. She has a lot more competition than she's ever had in her career, and I don't think she's taking too kindly to a lot of the competition and other female artists out there in the game. There's definitely a track record when it comes to that. But it does also seem like she is kind of trying to reach out and bridge that gap between herself and some of the younger up and coming artists out there. It appears that she does have a few of them on this album. She has shown up on their songs. So a few of them have shown up on her singles. So she does kind of try to reach out at points, and who knows how she really, really feels about the situation. But I'm very interested to kind of see what she does musically, especially in terms of the current scene and current landscape of hip hop with all these female artists and female dominated genre right now, and kind of the type of music that they're making is very different than what she typically does. She always does a pretty good job of mixing more hardcore traditional hip hop and rap with more poppy, clubby, bouncy singles, and even crosses over a lot and kind of shows off more of her diverse range as an artist. So we'll see if she kind of goes that route, or she tries to kind of cater to this crowd of fans and artists and sound that is kind of dominating right now. So I'm also kind of very interested to see what she does with that. I honestly don't think I've heard a full Nicki Minaj album in a really, really long time, probably since some of her earlier stuff. It's not that I'm not a fan. I mean, she's not my favorite artist, and I don't really check for her music that much, but in terms of female artists, female hip hop artists, she's definitely towards the top for me. I like most of the singles that I hear from her. I just never really check out a full album. So this is my first one in quite a long time. So I'm very interested, very, very interested. Let's check it out. Without further ado, Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday 2 dropped, I want to say last week, somewhere around there, maybe a week before, I can't remember, but she's out, she's back. The game has changed. It's very hip hop female dominated, and she might be coming back for that crown. Let's see if she can do it. Track number 1, Are You Gone Already? Let's go. It was cool. Solid little intro, nothing like groundbreaking or earth shattering or like different than what I expected. This is very much in her wheelhouse. I feel like she's kind of done similar songs like this before. She blends her rapping and her singing, and it's just a solid little mix of different styles. Solid number. She gets a little emotional, a little more like piano ballady. She talks about some issues, something's going on. Like overall, it's a solid little intro to the album. Nothing out of the ordinary for her. Very much in her wheelhouse, in her lane, and it's one thing that she does that I think really separates herself from the other female rappers out there, is that she has this full range of artistry that she kind of displays, and that I haven't really seen from too many of the other ones out there, and something that I've actually kind of been waiting more from, like let's say like a Cardi B or something like that. But it's kind of something that she's kind of mastered and perfected over the years, and something that she can always pull out at any time that other female artists haven't really been able to reach yet. But overall, it's just a solid intro. Just a solid intro. Let's go to the next track, Barbie Dangerous. Again, solid song, nothing crazy. I definitely hear the Notorious Thugs flip there in the sample. She can spit, she got bars, you've all known that. Hearing it really just made me want to hear Notorious Thugs, honestly, quite honestly. Like a song that iconic, that loved, whatever, like you kind of gotta go crazy, like you gotta do something crazy with it. You can't just kind of come half-assed, and it definitely felt like she kind of went a little half-assed at this one. And honestly, just really made me want to hear Notorious Thugs. Quite honestly, I almost cut it off and went straight to that song and wanted to hear the real uncut version. Like that is it. This is cool, but nothing wow. Still nothing wow yet. Let's keep it going. Let's go to track number 3, FTCU. All right, getting a little bit more interesting. A slight "Fuck This Club Up" sample from 3 6 Mafia, famous "Fuck the Club Up" anthem, but slightly better. Still feels a bit dated. I'm not gonna lie. Everything so far sounds a bit dated. Sometimes you would hear from like the early 2010s when she was the most popular. It's not sounding the most fresh, especially considering compared to a lot of like the other female-led hip-hop acts out there. Yeah, it was cool. It was just a cool song. Nothing crazy. Let's go to the next track, Beep Beep. Okay, so far, this is the absolute best beat that I've heard. 4 tracks in. This is the hardest song that I've heard to this point, and I'm digging this one right here. Of course, the song that I was feeling the most is the shortest. Like, why? I think this is the most interesting song that she's had so far. The beat's the toughest, the most bop to it. Like, I would want to hear an extended version of this, but it's got a little short little teaser. Unfortunately, this was the one that I've definitely was enjoying the most, and that's it. 1.5 minutes, and that is it. Keep this going. Falling for You, track number 5. Solid again, just another solid track. I definitely heard some shots being taken there. I believe she said something like, "These bitches gotta shake their ass to have sex appeal." Like, what? Were you not doing the same thing at this point in your career when you were first starting out? Like, wasn't your whole point was showing ass and like shaking ass and pushing the envelope in terms of sexiness and sex appeal and just sex in general? Like, were you not doing the same thing? It's kind of crazy to see this full circle continuing to happen. But I definitely heard the shot in Falling for You. I don't know exactly who she was shooting at, but somebody caught a stray there. A solid song. Like, again, it's a solid song, but it sounds like an old Nicki song. Like, it sounds like a song we've already heard before. I know she has a style, and I know she has an appeal that people like, but at the same time, it's like, yo, we've heard you for so long. I know it's hard to kind of like keep reinventing yourself, but that's kind of the name of the game. Like, if you don't, then you just start to sound old and tired. So far, 5 tracks in, starting to sound a little old and tired. I'm not going to give full judgment yet, but so far I'm not that impressed. Let's keep it going. Track number 6, Let Me Calm Down, featuring J. Cole. Sheesh. Sheesh. Hey, this feature run that J. Cole has been on over the last 2 to 3 years, I'm definitely gonna have to do like a deep dive examination of that, because at this point he's rapidly approaching that legendary guest feature status a la Jay-Z, Wayne, 3000, you know, people like that. Like, he's definitely approaching that level, because now every time I hear his name, I just know it's gonna be fire. Like, I know it's gonna be fire. I know he's gonna deliver, and like 90% of the time he steals the song. Like, he steals it, and he does it once again here. This run he's on, absolutely legendary, and it deserves a deeper dive, a deeper examination, because he's going absolutely bonkers right now. Kendrick, you taking notes? Because you not doing features is starting to hurt you, because it's starting to get a little annoying. You can't be one of the top rappers in the game and not do any features outside of your homie, outside of your cousin. Like, you're not gonna hop on nothing and prove and show what you can do. Like, where's the competition? Where's the artistry in that? Like, J. Cole finally broke free and he's back out there. And the next thing I really want to see is Kendrick doing the same, because features are such an underrated part of somebody's catalog and career. Like, some of the best verses ever in the history of rap have been guest features, and they've done so much for legacy. And at this point, like, J. Cole is just solidifying himself feature after feature after feature. Absolutely fire. best song of the album so far. And like I said, any J. Cole feature at this point, you can basically just go ahead and write that song down as being fire. Like, you just know he's gonna deliver, and he delivered once again, and he's on an absolute tear, and putting him on this was an absolutely smart decision. And so far it's my best and most favorite song off this album. Production was solid. Well, production was definitely better than solid. It was super fire, super vibey. Cole delivered, Nicki did her thing. Overall, just an absolutely fire song. Best one on the album so far, and I'm not surprised because J. Cole killing ish. Next track, R&B, featuring Lil Wayne and Tate Cobain. I don't know who that second person is. Hey, homie low-key sound like Chris Brown. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot that was somebody else, but homie low-key sound like a young Chris Brown. Another good track. That's 2 for 2 back to back. Another good track. Her and Wayne always cook up pretty well together. They've definitely got a lot of hits, a lot of memorable moments together, and this is I wouldn't put this towards the top of their collaborations, but it's just another really solid one. And like I said, Tate Cobain, whoever he is, he definitely sounds very similar, eerily similar to Chris Brown. And if you're not gonna get Chris, I guess it's a good substitute. But overall, it's a cool song. It's definitely a cool song. They delivered. Everybody did their part. Wayne is fully back at this point. I think he's delivering memorable guest features and verses left and right now. And this is just another really good song. It does sound a bit dated and does sound something from like the late 2000s to like early to mid 2010s. Definitely from that kind of era, but still a good song. Good music is good music. So let's go to the next track, Pink Birthday. That was a vibe. Overall, that was a super vibe. I think, again, that was definitely one of the better tracks off of this album. And again, it's short, super short. Like, I don't really know, we're not getting a full kind of version of that, but extended version, at least 3 minutes long. But this is only a 2-minute track. But overall, it was a vibe. I was definitely vibing with that one. I could have let that go on a little bit longer. I would have been perfectly fine with that. Vibe, short, sweet, but a vibe. Let's go to the next track. Needle featuring Drake. Cool song, dope song. Definitely a kind of clubby daytime pop song that you could hear being played on the radio. I probably have heard it on the radio. Actually, I think I have heard it on the radio. I've definitely heard that chorus before from Drake. He's Drake very much in his kind of one dance poppy bag with that one, kind of a mix of little Afro beats in there. Island vibes. Like, overall, it's just a vibe. Like, it's a cool song, very vibey. Could be played in many different situations. I think her and Drake together is always like a good combination. Again, much like the Wayne one, this isn't my favorite collab that they've ever done, but it's solid. It's a cool little track, and it's one that I could definitely see doing very well on the radio. And yeah, an offensive pop song. Let's go to the next track, Cowgirl, featuring Lord Is. Okay, another really solid song. Like, the production is super strong on that one. Very much in her lane, like kind of that poppy, spacey type of song. I feel like it kind of reminds me of a song that she's done before, but still fire. I'm not familiar with the Lourdes, but she sounds great on the track. And so far, that's the only female guest feature that she's had on there, and it seems to be, the looks of things, one of the very few features that she has on there that are female. But cool song. I'm really digging that one. I thought it was a vibe, and I think that she's on a nice little run right here. For the last 5 or so songs, she's put out some pretty solid work here. Let's keep this going. Let's go to a big different, or no, just keep going. We're on Everybody, featuring Lil Uzi Vert. All right, so normally I'm pretty skeptical about this type of lazy sampling, which I'd kind of call like TikTok sampling, where you barely do much to the actual beat. You just kind of just turn into a trap song with some hard bass and hard drums. But it's undeniably catchy. This song is undeniably catchy, and if you heard this in a club or a party or whatever, then you have no chance but to dance to this one. It's absolute vibe. Like, and her flow and her rhythm and everything delivery with this is matches up perfectly with the production, and so far it's absolutely fire. I'm not a huge fan of this type of sampling. I don't think it does much to transform the actual song, but I can't deny it. If I heard this while we were out, like, you gotta hit the floor. You gotta hit the dance floor. This is definitely a vibe. Like I said, a vibe. I don't really think Uzi did much to actually add to this song, but overall, it was just a vibe. Like, if you hear this, you gotta dance, gotta hit that dance floor. It's a dope little flip, even though I think it is still lazy sampling and TikTok sampling, as I like to call it, but undeniably catchy. And you will definitely hear this a lot in terms of social media and dances being done to it and everything. It's got that perfect kind of rhythm and balance and vibe that you would want for something of that makeup for sure. But let's keep things going. Let's go to track number 12, Big Difference. Cool song, but it's definitely, like I said, well, for many songs on this one, it definitely sounds like late 2000s, early 2010s, mid 2010s kind of hip hop, especially coming from that camp, Young Money camp for sure. The production definitely feels a bit dated in that sense, but it's still good. It's still solid production, still solid song. She did her thing on there. I don't necessarily love the beat switch up. I think it was a bit grating there in the middle, but overall, it was a cool song. It was definitely a cool song. It's something that I could hear from the earlier days of like Young Money 1000%. Like, she certainly has a style that she likes, and she kind of sticks to that. And that's kind of been the general overall feel for this album so far, as we're approaching the halfway mark, or just over the halfway mark. But let's keep things going. See if she switches things up, or she kind of continues on this trend. Next track 13, Red Ruby Da Sleaze. Again, I can already tell right from the jump, this can kind of be more of that lazy TikTok sampling that I like, that I said and pointed out earlier, where they almost wholesale rip the song, add a couple harder drums, trap drums on there, and chop things up a bit. But overall, it's just kind of repurposing songs, which she's done quite a bit on this album so far, and she did as well on their Barbie single. And it's worked out for her, and it's worked out for a lot of other artists in this generation so far. But I don't know, I'm not a big fan of it. But let's check it out. Like, don't get me wrong, she's definitely doing her thing on this track. She's spinning her ass off, and the beat is tough and the drums are tough. But to give you an example of what I mean, how similar it is to the original song, let's just play it right now. This is Lumity, who originally put this song out probably early 2000s. I can't remember the exact date, but called Never Leave You, and you would hear this all the time on the radio in the club. Like, it was a smash hit. I don't remember anything else, or if she ever had another single that was as popular as this or even came close to it, but this one had the early 2000s in an absolute chokehold, and it's so similar to to this. Like, they barely did anything to the sample. Wait, let me switch it because I don't need to get copyright. So that is Never Leave You, Lumity. As you can see, very, very similar to Red Ruby Da Sleaze. I know samples typically back in the day, as hip hop grew, with big on sampling, they would take a portion of a song, normally a bass line or guitar riff or something small, and kind of build a beat around it. But nowadays, they just take the whole song and add some harder drums on there on top and call it a day. And that's basically what they did here. Like I said, cool song. Don't get me wrong, it slaps. The original slaps as well, for an absolute reason. This is why it slaps. Like, it's kind of the trend these days, so I can't really get mad at her for doing it. That's what everybody's doing. If you got the money, you don't care about making money off singles these days, because most people don't, because you don't make money off of streaming anyways. Well, why not go ahead and go for it? And I mean, lyrically, bar wise, she absolutely murdered it. Her flow was crazy on this one. She is still, to me, the best actual female lyricist outside of maybe like Rhapsody or somebody like that. But in terms of like the pop and mainstream female rappers, yeah, she's got it by a mile still to this day. But cool song, still makes you want to hear the original, and I think it's still kind of a cheap trick, just flipping an already popular song. But it is what it is. It's kind of the name of the game these days. Let's keep things going. Let's go to Forward from Trini featuring Skilly Bang and Skang. Not a huge fan. I know she's trying to appeal to her Caribbean kind of dance hall heritage and roots, but I could do with that one. I'll be honest, I could probably do without that one. Sometimes you try and sometimes it just doesn't work. And for me, that did not work, and it sounds a bit
derivative.
But I'm sure there's somebody that'll like that, because that's the reason she's putting it out there. She's trying to like play a set of pills to everybody, and you don't hit with everybody with everything. And that one did not resonate with me at all. Let's go to the next track, Pink Friday Girls. Lazy TikTok sampling. Let's just call it what it is. This is good for social media. This is good for virality. This is good for clips. This is good for people making shit out of it and using it as background music, or like, you know, the narrative for whatever video they're putting out. So you can kind of get that widespread virality on TikTok and IG Reels. But it's just lazy ass sampling. Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Cyndi Lauper, probably one of the most running to the ground songs of all time. So I'm not surprised that she's kind of touching on this, because she already did Barbie for the movie earlier this year, and she's at it again. Again, it's just the song with harder drums over the top, trap drums over the top. It's not a fan. Again, all right, interesting, not interesting song in general. Kind of playing on cheap tricks. Just take a super popular song and flip it and do your own version of it. I know we've had covers for a really long time, and it's nothing new in music. At this point, I just consider these covers, and I've never been a huge fan of covers in general, but this is kind of like cheap, lazy, low-hanging fruit. And I don't really think somebody as creative as her really needs to go down this road, but she's done it quite a bit this year. I'm sure it'll get play. I'm sure it'll find its way into playlists and top 40 and clubs and all that. I'm just not a huge fan of it at all. Let's go to the next track, Super Freaky Girl. Again? Come on. Nothing else. We're just gonna get
another one.
Half her budget probably just went to clearing these samples. Straight up. Like, I don't want to be a buzzkill. It's a fun song. It's definitely one that I've heard already for sure in the clubs, bars, radio, wherever. It's gonna work, of course, but you're just taking an already very successful single and song and premise and flipping it for your own use, which again isn't anything new, but it's so cheap and lazy these days that they don't even come up with creative production around it. They just take the whole production wholesale and add some harder beats and drums to it, and it's just like, you're supposed to be this top tier talent, and this is the extent and level of your creativity, really. Like, okay, if it's a cheap rap, like, marketing, business, I get it. I'm just disappointed from an artistic standpoint, and it's gonna work, of course, but damn, expected more. This is something I would definitely expect from like a Saweetie or something like that, not a Nicki Minaj going down this road. But here we are. I don't want to be a buzzkill. It worked. It's a cool song. It's a fun song. You're gonna dance to it no matter when you hear it, especially if you're out and about. Girls are gonna love it. But this is it, really. So that's Super Freaky Girl. Not my favorite. Let's go next track. Track number 17. Bomb Bomb. No production on this, super tough. Okay, this is the shakeup I needed after getting all those very mid samples back to back. This right here, this is tough. Fire. Good switch up. Definitely needed that. Let's keep this going. Track number 18, My Life.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That was a bop. She also used a sample in there, but it was definitely in a more interesting and tasteful way, not just a straight up rip. And, she was getting some shit off her chest. She definitely, again, talking to this younger generation of artists. I'm not exactly sure which female artist she's speaking to, or if she was speaking to all of them in general, but she's kind of trying to reassert herself as the dominant figure, dominant woman female rapper in the game. And it's cool. It was a cool song. It was a dope song. Like, her flow's always nice. Her bars are solid. Like, in terms of rapping, again, I think she's probably the top of the top outside of somebody like Rhapsody, but she's solid. She can hang with just about anybody out there in the game, and she was just out there to prove it. And I think this song was cool. Yeah, cool song. Let's go to the next one. Nicki Hendrix featuring Future. Decent song, nothing crazy. Definitely feels like a throwaway Future song. Honestly, it definitely has Future's kind of blueprint and whatnot all over this. Something that I can hear him putting on one of his mixtapes, but it definitely feels like a throwaway that he didn't use himself, and probably for good reason. But it was just okay. Let's go to the next track. Track number 20, Blessings featuring Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Track, like the production. Don't know Tasha Cobbs Leonard, but she's got great vocals, great voice. She definitely sounds like a gospel-y soul singer. Could be wrong, but she definitely has that appeal to her. Overall, just a really cool song. Good vibes. I could definitely hear myself listening to that again. Nothing crazy, but just a good song overall. Definitely kind of like those strong album fillers that you want, and this is definitely one of the standouts from that. The next track, we got 2 more tracks to go. Track 21, Last Time I Saw You. Let's go. Another very solid album cut. Not one that probably gonna stand out the most or like even be talked about that crazy, but it definitely has its appeal, and I think it's just a solid number. Definitely vibey, definitely towards the end of the album type of feel, but it works and it's solid. Yeah, what else can you kind of want from a song? Let's go to the last track. Track number 22, Just the Memories. Let's go. Another dope song, definitely a dope outro. Good way to end the album. Very strong song right there. Very much in her Nicki Minaj kind of lane and formula, which you kind of expect to her. She does a great job of the kind of blending pop, R&B, and rap into all one song with these kind of spacey, vibey production and beats, and that's kind of what she does extremely well. She did that once again here, and it's hard not to vibe with that. A good 3-song kind of ending. Definitely a strong way to end the album. But that's it for Pink Friday 2. Overall thoughts, man, is a little bit mixed. I think there's some really, really good and high points on here. I don't think there's anything that I'm gonna like particularly want to return to and pick out and specifically and like listen to over and over again. But there's stuff that I wouldn't be mad at if I heard it again for sure. And I think she does what she does best. Like, she's very comfortable in her lane. She has a formula that's worked for her for this whole point in her career. It kind of feels like she's thinking, why switch it up when it's been working for me? And I tend to agree. It's worked for her to this point. Why switch it up? I don't think she'll ever have like a great classic album from front to back, because I think that's not what she's trying for. I think she's trying for kind of like this playlist mentality, even before it was kind of big to do, where she tries to cater to all these different audiences and fans and people that like different songs from her, and that all works to varying degrees. It's something that's incredibly hard to pull off. Even Drake has a hard time doing that. You're not going to be able to please everybody with everything you do, but she's just trying to give you a sampling of everything that she's capable of doing, which is a lot because she is super talented. It is kind of disappointing that she has not had like or she didn't have any of the younger up and coming artists on this album, especially considering the state of hip hop and how women led it is right now, and how many other artists there are that are dope and could easily, deserve to be on a song with her. But at the same time, I also can kind of understand it. Like, she probably doesn't respect too many of them, considering she is a true rapper, so to say, and she actually writes her own lyrics and kind of does her own songs and is an actual artist. So I'm not sure if I was in that position, I'd probably kind of be the same and be a little bit selective who I would kind of spend my energy with, because if I'm the one that's doing the true artistry and giving respect to hip hop and like putting the work in and the time in, I would want to see my peers doing the same. So I'm not really sure how she feels about this newer generation of artists coming up, but I wouldn't be surprised if she isn't the most impressed with it. It's just kind of funny and weird to see that she's kind of doing much of the same things that she was mad at Lil' Kim for doing when she was kind of popping. But it is what it is. Overall, I don't think it was that missed. The sampling was a bit much and a bit grating, and I just think that she's way more creative than that. Or maybe she's kind of run out of those kind of creative ideas, because she did it a lot here where it just seemed like lazy, low-hanging fruit. That's good for some quick spins and some quick streams and some TikTok virality. But outside of that, it's not worth really mentioning in terms of her entire catalog. And there's songs that will come and go as the year goes by and goes into 2024. But overall, it was a solid little offering. It's exactly what I expected from a Nicki Minaj album, which is good and bad, because she hasn't really put out any bad projects, but she hasn't put out anything that's like absolutely mind-blowing and must listen from front to back, and she still has not. But there are a lot of tracks that you can pick out here, and you can pick out your favorites and like what you like. She gave a little bit of something for everybody. She's very comfortable in her formula, her production, her rhyme schemes, her verses, everything. Like, it just feels very, very comfortable for her at this point, and it's kind of like almost going through the motions and just doing what she does. So whether you were a fan or not before this, I don't think this album's going to do much to change your opinion one way or the other. But solid album, nothing crazy. I don't really know how it's gonna kind of stand out and match up with what some of these other younger female artists are doing, but it's definitely the Nicki Minaj formula. What else can be said?